So next up with President Trump is waste, fraud, and abuse, including Jay Powell. Check it out. Tim Scott, Senator Scott, is chairman of the Senate Banking Committee. He wants to get Kevin Warsh up and going for his hearings, and he wants to get him passed. But it's being blocked by Senator Tillis of North Carolina. But Tim Scott said, okay, Jay Powell inept, no question about that. I think he's done more to undermine Fed independence in addition to his poor monetary decisions.
He's been terrible, I agree.
But inept is not criminal. And so the question is, can the Justice Department settle the Jay Powell business so you can get on with the business of getting Kevin Warsh confirmed?
He's so bad that, I mean, interest rates should have been cut. We should be 2 points lower right now, 2 points. But he's building a small little complex, very small, small. I just built a hotel not so long ago in Washington for a tiny fraction that's bigger than that, you know, and bigger than that on Pennsylvania Avenue. And I built it for a tiny fraction of what they've spent. I'm building something right now in the White House, one of the greatest ballrooms so desperately needed anywhere in the world for a fraction of what this guy's doing. So you have this little complex of a couple of buildings, and they're going to be close to $4 billion, $4 billion. It's the most expensive construction job ever built anywhere in the world per square foot. It's crazy. And they're either corrupt, which somebody's corrupt, has to be, or grossly incompetent. Now, we know he's incompetent, but the question is he corrupt? They're spending, I would have been able to do that job for $25 million, and it would have been much better than what they're ending up with. What they've done to that place is unbelievable. I could have done that job, fully done it, and I'm good at this stuff, for $25 million. I think they're going to come in at $4 billion. So,
but, sir, is it worth holding up the Warsh nomination?
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see what happens. I would be, look, I've been fighting Tillis for a long time, so much so that he ended up quitting. So let's see. If it happens, it happens. But Jeanine Pirro's doing it. I wasn't involved in it. Jeanine Pirro's doing it. She's very good. She's very strong. And we'll see how it happens. But Larry, when you're doing a job, I could have done the job for $25 million, much better. It would have been open 2 years ago. And they're going to be, I think they're going to be over $4 billion. $4 billion for a little thing. The most expensive in history per square foot. So, I don't know, something's wrong. And we can't let that happen either. You can't. Somebody got rich, I can tell you that. Maybe it wasn't him, but it was maybe a contractor or somebody. They're pretty good at taking money.
Well, waste, fraud, and abuse is a big issue. It's a big political issue. I mean, it's a drain the swamp issue. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you is, what's happened to Doge, and is there a chance of, you know, a Doge 2.0? You got over $200 billion of savings.
Yeah.
The GAO and also Elon Musk thought it'd be $500–600 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse. So a lot of people say this is a hot issue for the midterms, going after waste, fraud, and abuse. And that includes, of course, all the welfare, waste, fraud, and abuse, all the travesty of this, what's going on in
right
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
It's all of the piece. And is there a way of going after that this year?
Well, there is, and Doge really continues in a different form. The one thing I didn't like about Doge, I wanted to do it where a secretary would, like the VA, or education, where she's doing great. He's doing great, by the way, both of them. But cut 10% of your payroll, cut your costs, you know, in other words, be specific. When you cut, get rid of the people that are doing a lousy job, okay? In other words, take care of the people that are doing a good job. And I didn't want a general cut, but Doge was great. We cut it, you know, we saved a lot of money. We found a lot of really bad contracts where Stacey Abrams was given like $2 billion, I think, for some environmental, where she had $100 in the bank, and They gave her $2 billion. Oh, so many different things like that. And I think that's in a certain way where it was. And we're still doing it. One thing, our employment numbers are very good. But remember, we cut hundreds of thousands of people. I don't want to say it because it sounds so nasty, but it's not nasty. We have to make America great again, right? You don't do that by hiring all federal workers. We want them to be in the private sector. I've cut hundreds of thousands of jobs, and we still have good employment numbers. But if I want to have the greatest employment numbers you've ever seen, all I have to do is say I'm going to hire 500,000 people.
But
That's what the Democrats
But you want
do.
the private sector
No,
to
what
drive
happened
it.
is the people I cut are now working in the private
Right.
sector. And they probably hated me when they lost their job, and now they love me. They're making twice the money.
So you're going to still go after the whole waste, fraud, and
Well, I
abuse
am
issue.
in Minnesota. Take a look at Minnesota. So we think it's at least $19 billion of fraud, medical, every fraud. Somalia has come in here. What they've done to our country, these people, they've come into our country, and what they've done with that fake congresswoman, she's so bad. No, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We have the best people maybe in the whole country looking at that. We're looking at California too, because California is worse. But if we find 50%, look, they've been robbing and ripping off this country for many years, for decades, right? If we find 50% of what's happened, we have a balanced budget. Without cutting anybody, we have a balanced budget. And we'll find it. Minnesota is very corrupt. California is very corrupt. A lot of states are very corrupt.
All right, quick break, and then ending sanctuary cities. Lindsey Graham is right, and the president supports Lindsey Graham. End sanctuary cities. Next up.